Welcome into Atlantic City before Marist faces off against Manhattan. It's a 12 p.m. tip today, and then you know what's going to happen. The men are facing off against Quinnipiac on Saturday at 6 p.m. Thrilled you could take some time to join us alongside Nick Chiarito, Nate Babcock, Mike Duda. We are down on the ground here in AC.
We made it. We landed at Jim Whelan Boardwalk Hall. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, we made it, dude. I'm excited to be here for the MAAC.
I mean, all the flashing lights in the hotel, they haven't got to me yet, but, you know, they might. They might. We
take a look at the women's bracket. What's cooking up on the women's side for the MAAC tournament? Marist and Manhattan, the first game of the tournament, 12 p.m. And then later today, 2:30 p.m., it's Sacred Heart facing off against number 10 seed St. Peter's. They move into tomorrow. Quinnipiac will play the winner of that Marist-Manhattan game. Already scheduled that 4-5 seed game against Iona and Siena. Game number 4, 2:30. It's the victor of the Sacred Heart St. Peter's game. They'll play Fairfield, such a tough matchup. And then Merrimack, Mount St. Mary's, Saturday, already set that 3 and 6 game. A lot of great teams on this women's side, but it's really Quinnipiac and Fairfield taking the draw.
I mean, Fairfield top 25, AP top 25. That's very impressive.
Both of them are in the top 25 amongst mid-majors as well. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, a lot of fun potential matchups, and it's all getting started with Manhattan Marist.
Well, we're going to move on to the men's side and what happened with the Marist men's basketball season. It started out strong off of a really impressive, it was a loss against Xavier, but then the Foxes just moved up. Rajan Blackwell, so many names, and right now they're looking a little bit different.
They're looking different because they're not playing too great against the better teams. The teams that were seeded above them getting the 5 seed, they're 1-7 against the top 4 seeds. When you get the bottom 9 seeds, they're 11-1. They're really pouncing on the worst competition.
I mean, at least they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. But at least for them, they got the one team in the top 4 that they've actually beat this year.
Yeah, they've beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They've kind of played to their competition. They are a true 5 seed, an entirely different team down the stretch of this season. But it's been a roller coaster of a season for Marist men's basketball. They started out 6-4 in their first 10 games. They suffered back-to-back losses against the top of the MAAC in Merrimack and Siena in those 9th and 10th games of MAAC play before they bounced back in a pivotal matchup against Quinnipiac.
That's going to be vital. They're playing Quinnipiac.
Yep, they won against Quinnipiac, proceeded to go on to win 4 straight, and then came their last 6 matchups of the year where they lost 4 out of those 6 by just a margin of 7.2 points. In those losses, they had a 3-point loss to Fairfield where they just could not hit shots down the stretch. Siena, a 4-point loss, and they just could not consistently get big buckets until the late offensive charge for Justin Menard. In his last 3 games, he had 30 points against Manhattan, 22 points in a game winner against Sacred Heart,
and before
and
that game winner against Sacred Heart, Tariq Watson looked at me, he's like, JM's going to hit this, and he hit it.
Yeah, it was quite the shot. He also had 19 in a tight loss last game of the season against St. Peter's. He's averaging nearly 24 points over the last 3 games in MAAC play.
Nick, dive in a little bit about this Marist men's basketball offensive attack.
So, I'm a big fan of statistical patterns. And what I've noticed is that they are 17-1 in games where they score 64 points, 12-1 in games where they shoot at least 33% from 3, and 12-1 in games where they make 7 3-pointers. That one game was against Georgia Tech, which you two were at.
And back to that game, a lot of players that are not going to be suiting up for this Red Fox team today here in Atlantic City. Jason Schofield officially ruled out tomorrow, make it Saturday, with a lower body injury. Elijah Lewis also remains out. He's out for the season. And Tariq Watson, who only suited up for 10 games, also out for this matchup. Martin Kawa was ill in his previous senior day. I believe he'll be okay to play that game. So many pivotal injuries that came about. We knew what was going on with Tariq Watson. We knew what was going on with Elijah Lewis. But without Jason Schofield, it feels like that's a killer right now for the Foxes.
Will, what I noticed, before Elijah Lewis got hurt, Red Foxes were averaging over 70 points per game. Since then, under 65.
Which is so important because of this defense. They are top 28 in multiple categories in the nation, guys. I mean, we're talking about a mid-major school. They are just fantastic on the defensive front. That's John Dunn's bread and butter. It's giving a little bit of deja vu from last year because they were so good defensively and kind of fell off towards the end. But still, when you have the second best opponent three-point percentage in the entire country, you're doing something right.
Yeah, that defense is as stout as any, almost in the entire nation. But it's a different look, especially with Tariq Watson and Jason Schofield out of the lineup. Not really able to fall back into that drop coverage that they like with Jason Schofield. And the pick and roll defense has been a lot different.
And that pick and roll defense, so pivotal against such a talented Quinnipiac team. Amari Monroe, Jaden Zimmerman, kind of a 1-2 punch.
A Sim Jones,
Both Keith McKnight off the bench.
I mean, there's so many
and
names.
they all made an all-MAC team, first, second, and third.
Monroe and Zimmerman making that first team, 6 players on that first team. There's such a tough matchup offensively, and that's if Amari Monroe is healthy enough to play at his full potential.
Which he probably will be. I mean, he's the MAAC preseason player of the year for a reason. The guy is fantastic, and I think it's crazy that he's been almost overshadowed by Zimmerman, but almost complimented at the same time, right?
Yeah, his growth as a player throughout the season has been exponential. He won MAAC Player of the Year, came in, was preseason MAAC Player of the Year, and then made an all-defensive team this year. He's just grown so much as a player to allow guys like Jaden Zimmerman to open up the offense.
Now look at a Sim Jones, deadly from three-point range, shooting 48%. So from the outside, he is definitely their biggest threat.
Yeah, major luxury to have as a third option.
What about Zimmerman, guys? 16 points per game?
Leading scorer.
And we're not even talking about him?
Okay, but he shot 38% from the field.
Still, 16 is very impressive.
He is
a great offensive threat, paired with Monroe, paired with Jones. This is a dangerous team. There's a reason why they were picked first in the preseason poll.
Pick first, Nick. What's your key for Quinnipiac to take the victory against Marist on Saturday?
Make sure they don't score. Quinnipiac has the second best defense in the MAAC. They have 3 talented guys. You have a first-team All-MACer, second-team All-MACer, third-team All-MACer. Get them the ball, get them to score, and hold Marist under 64 points.
I think they just got to play to their strengths, and it's the strengths that Marist allows them to play with, and it's going to have to be working it inside out, get it inside, get the paint points early, and then you work it out to the three-point line.
I'm going to be a little cliche with this. It's the magic number 64. Nick said the stat earlier. They've only lost 1 game, and that was against an ACC opponent when they scored 64
and
or more.
Fun fact about Quinnipiac, 18-2 in games where they hold their opponent to under 46% field goal shooting.
Wow, that kind of merges everything into my key for QU. The Bobcats really have to find that interior, but Parby Kabamba, who came up a little bit injured in that previous game, Kabamba hurting his knee, he's clear to play, but Kabamba certainly not at 100% strength. But to the eye test, you gotta initiate contact down low, and honestly, you gotta back Kabamba up down low into the paint.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. He's kind of played it more as a stationary pick-and-pop player. He's capable of rolling, getting downhill, getting that fadeaway inside midi.
Very athletic, too. Let him use it. Let him use it down low.
Very athletic, but if he's hobbled, and he's capable of stretching the floor, he's one of the best three-point shooters on this team. So it's interesting to see how his role's developed.
Mike, how is Marist going to win on Saturday against this tough Bobcat team?
It's hitting that number. They're really down on bigs right now. They need to shoot the lights out. They got to rely on their guards. And who is better than that than Justin Menard?
Yep, Justin Menard leading the way offensively, leading point and assist getter for this team. But I think the X factor in this entire tournament, maybe for any team in the MAAC on the men's side of things, is Miles Parker.
100% agree.
X factor.
Yes,
100%
he's the freshman coming in. He had a career high in three-pointers and assists in that second-to-last matchup of the season against Sacred Heart. He has just been huge down the stretch in not only his three-point shooting, but he's developed as a playmaker, a rebounder, a defender. He's just kind of come into his own. He's came in talented, but really down the stretch, he's kind of tied it all together.
How about the 6th player of the year, Rajai Blackwell? One of the best, voted as the best player off the bench in the MAAC. But in his last 6 games, he's shooting 19% from 3, 5 total. In 4 of those games, he hasn't made a single 3. So if I'm Marist, get him going from three-point range.
Want to know my key? It's a little bit different, and we have not talked about this, but Trace Salton.
I like it. See it.
Trace Salton will be the key. This is his 4th time down in Atlantic City, his senior year. He had a bunch of do-not plays in the early part and middle part of that season. but played serious pivotal minutes, playing some fantastic defense and even stretching that offense in the last regular season game for the Red Foxes.
Get him in there to make a couple of, explosive plays, get the crowd going, and then everybody else is just going to ride along with him.
He's a total energy guy. He said after he tried to, oh my gosh, put them in a body bag on the baseline.
That was crazy.
He tried. I've never seen someone cock back a tomahawk like he did. He brings the energy, and he said he wants to get another opportunity at that here in this tournament after the game. He's just a great energy guy, and like you said, he's seen these moments.
You're talking about defense. You're talking about seniors. Got Shaden Daughtry. He made an all-defensive team. The guy
I thought he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. That's
so many
my
blocks,
take.
so many steals. The guy is fantastic. Oh, and did I mention he loves to jam? Look at his slams are fantastic. They are highlight reel-esque.
He's looking to have a great opportunity to do that as Marist tries to continue their streak of getting out of this first round. We take a look at the men's bracket and what's going to shape up here in Atlantic City. Opening day for game one. It's Iona and Sacred Heart, the 8th seed facing off against the 9 seed.
What a game. What a game that will be.
That's a must-watch.
Hey,
game
Merrimack's
2.
on upset alert for that one.
Game 2, Fairfield versus Manhattan, the 7 and number 10 seeds. And then Merrimack will play the winner of the Iona Sacred Heart game. St. Peter's will play the winner of the Fairfield-Manhattan game, and Siena facing off Saturday 8:30 against Mount St. Mary's. That's my highlight game to watch. Mount St. Mary's, of course, winning last year the complete tournament, winning that first 4 game, and going down to Duke and giving them a little bit of business. Never count out Donnie Lynn's squad as we shift over.
Mount St. Mary's been red hot, too.
They won an NCAA tournament game.
I know.
They beat American.
That's what Marist is hoping to do as we shift over to the women's side and what this women's matchup. They're getting ready right behind us against Manhattan, and they faced off against the Jaspers a fair lot.
This is a team that they've played twice before, and it is completely even. They lost by 5, and they won by 5. Were they more healthy when they played at Trinity Gymnasium? Absolutely. But are they capable of beating this team? Again, absolutely. The key, in my opinion, is stopping or hitting the 3 ball on your end and preventing as much of the post as you can for Manhattan. They are 2 polar opposite teams. The Jaspers really do not like to shoot the tray. They are ranking in the bottom 10 in every 3-point statistic. Meanwhile, Marist is top 4 in a bunch of 3-point statistics. They want to shoot, so play to your strengths and play to their weakness.
Yeah, and I think it's just about doing the little things. You're going to get fouled by this Manhattan team. They are a hard-nosed defensive unit, so you got to hit your free throws. And then you mentioned they're not a great 3-point shooting team, so they're going to be working it inside. You have to box out, no allowing those second chance opportunities.
No fouling. You can't foul. And the O-boards are so important because they were out offensive rebound by nearly 20 against Siena in their most recent game.
Can't do that.
And nearly 30 boards overall. They only lost by 10. If they can clean up the glass, they are going to be so much better today, and they have a very realistic shot of winning.
Preventing those offensive rebounding opportunities that Nate was talking about earlier. Defensive rebounds, if you miss shots, they're going to get more.
It's what's going to happen, and the offensive rebounds are so key.
Is more important. Keep them off the glass, get those defensive rebounds.
They are last in the MAAC in offensive rebounds per game. They really need to get better on the offensive glass if they want to win today.
But it's hard to do it without some key players who have been held to injury this season. A few key players like the men's side not going to be performing here in Atlantic City, Mike.
Morgan Tompkins, she's been out for the entire season. Danny Williamson has now missed the last 9 games, assuming she doesn't play today.
She is not playing today. I'm assuming she's not playing today.
She's in sweatpants right now, so my assumption is she won't be playing.
In street clothes.
Kira Croker missed the first 9 games. Casey Bertonis also missed a handful. Malia Egan has missed every game since LSU and is out for today as well. And Elle Bruschuk is also going to be out today. She's got a sling.
But let's look at the bright side. They've seen some people step up to the plate. Chloe
Bertonis, like Escanilis, and like Kira Croker.
Absolutely.
No, we were at the hotel earlier, and then me and Mike, we were saying, any of the guards outside of Lexi and Justine, they play well. They
Those
got
are
a
the
chance.
X factors today.
Yeah, and Corsentino was part of that major comeback last season, and she's been clutch when it matters.
And she was a big part of that comeback that ultimately failed against Manhattan the second go-around on senior night.
Yes. Also a big part of that comeback that ultimately failed last season right here on this hardwood in that closing second of the second half. Corsentino missing that shot on the near side.
It was the right look, too.
It was the right look. and it really couldn't go better for Marist trying to make that historical comeback. But they're trying to face off against a Manhattan team that really has dominated in the last few days and last few games against the Red Foxes.
Obviously, Fairfield and Quinnipiac are going to be the two hottest teams around. That's
100%.
kind of a given. Outside of them, it's Manhattan and Iona that have been scorching hot. Victors of 5 of their last 6, the Jaspers.
Yeah, Marist couldn't have been happy to get Manhattan in this first round. It's definitely a tough matchup. They've been red hot.
I still think they match up well with them, but
absolutely.
yes, the Jaspers are bringing the energy.
It's a battle of small ball versus big ball. That's all it is.
Carly Fisher, her minutes have decreased over the last few games of the season. Marist doesn't really look to be big inside.
No.
Kira Croker the last few games has kind of stepped outside the key, right inside the three-point arc for her signature far side two-point shot. It's a different team than initially began this season, and Marist is trying to use their three-point shooting to their advantage.
I second that 100%. And since the flip of the calendar year, since we entered 2026, Kira Croker's really been playing the 5. She's 6 foot. She's not really a typical 5. Justine Henry's been playing the 4. Not really a typical 4. Yeah. She's more of a guard. So like William said, it's a smaller lineup for Aaron Dowdy's squad.
And they're leaning on that three-point shot, and a big person for their three-point range.
I know where you're going, the All-MAAC third-teamer.
Lexi Tarul, oh my goodness, she's been spectacular. And we talked about Corsentino in the clutch. But
Lexi's been special.
Tarul has been special. She had the game-winning shot, or
game-tying shot against Manhattan.
Game-tying shot, but last year, game-winning shot against St. Peter's. She's shown time and time and time again that she is for the moment and hitting big shots.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't discussed yet is how many close games this Marist women's basketball team has been in. 6 overtimes, which is tied, right?
Yes.
Tied for the most
up
in MAAC.
there. It is close in program history.
And then what's the stat that Mr. Jeff Brault gives to us all the time?
He's talking about the overtime statistics. It's just how much this team is forcing their way into OT. I mean, 6 times out of 30 games. Yeah. That's 20% of contests. You're playing a 5th period.
Mike, what's your key for the Red Foxes to come out ahead of Manhattan this time?
You got to shoot the lights out. Jackie Pittick has not been shooting as well from behind the perimeter lately, but she caught so much fire to begin the year. She's got to be on. Lexi Tarul has to be on today. And then when you want that inside presence, you can turn to that beautiful mid-ranger from Justine Henry, an all-MAAC rookie team unanimous selection. And also, you can have Kira Croker down there in the post. I think this team, again, matches up well with Manhattan and has a real shot.
Nathaniel.
I agree. I think you just got to keep it close. This team is 10-8 in games decided by single digits. They've been in these games. So if you see Manhattan go on a run, you just got to stay composed, knowing that your run will come. And then by the end of the stretch of the game, you have been there time and time again. You know what it takes.
Nick?
And there's one thing that I'm really thinking about when it comes to this team: mentality. They've had 15 close games, and they got to be able to close them out. They haven't been doing it recently. And I think about a dog, killer instinct. Danny Williamson. She's not playing. Somebody needs to step up, take that role. I think it's going to be Jackie Pittick.
I think so as well, but Danny can definitely still do it on the bench. She's here. She can really hype up her squad. We caught up with a couple of the assistant coaches last night, Brittany Shields, Mo Crisp, who we all love, and they were really positive.
Yeah,
They're
they
saying
were.
The team is in really good spirits right now.
And that comes into what my key for the Red Foxes, tipping off in just a little bit. Marist has to play the same energy from the first quarter into the third quarter. We've seen a drop in that third quarter coming out of the halftime timeout when they played at home against many opponents in the conference in Poughkeepsie. The energy feels off. You said Danny Williamson tries to increase that energy. The coaches trying to increase the energy. Keep the energy the same. Don't have lulls, ebbs and flows. Stay steady.
Absolutely.
Entirely. Marist and Manhattan trying to duel it one more time. Who will come out in the advantage? Tip off in just a little bit here on the Red Fox Network. Mike, Nate, and I have the call. Stay tuned to the Red Fox Report Instagram for some updates from Nick. We'll catch you after the next one.